Hi there, welcome to Dude Where's My ROI, where we host experienced marketers who are all about zero fluff and 100% ROI. In today's episode, you learn about UX and UI, side hustles, building your career path, and creating a community, and much more. Our guest today is Bhavishya Garg, head of UX at MX Player. He's worked on the super successful MX Player platform, which has more subscribers than Netflix or Prime. Imagine. Let's get on to today's episode. I can't wait.
One of the first questions, how exactly, what's been your journey like and where have you come from? Like if you go back till now, how did you manage this?
It's been an interesting journey. I come from a humble background. I was in Indore, and just like every other science student, I wanted to be in IIT or NIT at least, right? I thought that I've got 99.8 CGPA in 10th class. I'll definitely get into IIT. I got myself the best coaching. I got myself best everything. I didn't get into IIT, not into NIT. I got into the topmost private college of Indore, but that was pretty much it.
Right.
And that's where I think my journey really started. I felt that I don't want to lose out on the best education out there. I was jealous of education that students in Harvard, Stanford, IIT, NIT, Triple IT, Hyderabad, these topmost schools, education or the style of teaching that they were having, the style of learning they were having, I was jealous of that. So from the very first year, I used to say myself one thing: if your college ain't Harvard, make it. So I tried to make my Medicaps as Howard. I actually saw the movie Social Network. I saw that they have a lot of clubs. My college didn't have clubs. So amateur me, the first year me, we started creating clubs for coding, technology. And that's really where my journey started. I started then evangelizing for Microsoft very early on for their Windows 8. I started teaching students about what's better about Windows 8. I was a U-Crew member with Microsoft. And then with that, they recruited me into a Microsoft student partner. I got selected there. And with there, I got selected in a Google student ambassador. And that was really my third year of my college, where I was trying to do a lot of coding at the parallel because I knew that I need to start early. I knew everyone that was doing something good in life. I used to go up to them and ask them, just give me one advice that you could have. And every one of them said that you need to start early. People in engineering, they wake up in the fourth year of their engineering and that's way too late for them.
Right.
So I tried to wake myself up from the very first year of my college, and that really, really helped me because just by the end of my college, I'd already worked with over 30 companies while I was in college. I had been a coder, I had been an IT manager, I had been a marketing specialist, I had been a CTO, I had been a UI UX designer, I had been a graphic designer, I had been everything in those 4 years of my college so that I could try everything and understand where my sweet spot, where my forte kind of lies. And that's when, I got the opportunity for HDFC Red to become the head of design there. I joined it immediately after my engineering in 2016. Stayed there 2018. They got acquired by Quicker. And that's when I met Sumit Gupta. We actually, so around this time, we actually also had the Niche Mind and Let's Grow business. I'll tell you later about that.
Right.
So in the professional career, we started Coin DCX. Then right after HDFC. And that became India's largest cryptocurrency exchange. And we literally took it from a meeting in Starbucks that would say कि bro ऐसा product बनाना है कि जिसने जो कभी किसी ने ऐसा exchange नहीं देखा हो. That was literally the pitch that I was given by Sumit, that you just need to create a product that no one has ever seen in the crypto market. And we did just that. And that's exactly when I met Anam, and I got into Off10, and that was my Coin DCX phase. And right after Coin DCX, when I found that I have given as much as I could, being from a non-finance background to a finance-first company, as much as I could, I think I had given that. So I moved on from Coin DCX to MX Player as a head of user experience. And while everything was happening, I also had a passion for bringing tools that I didn't have when I was studying, when I was starting, the tools that could help me become a better designer. I wanted those tools to become a lot more accessible, because when I went to the market at around in 2015, I found that just a notebook for a UX designer, special notebook for UX designer, cost at least 4,000 to 4,500 in India. And I thought that was unfair for literally a A5 size small notebook that I would call a test book in India.
Correct.
And that's where the niche mind idea really came from. And we created world's first UX notebook, which became Amazon choice. And I wrote that. So it was a unique concept where I had a content in 20% of the book, and rest 80% was the exercise notebook for your UX research. And it was the first of its kind for UX research. That's why it got really famous, got a lot of traction. Now we have at around 130,000 community members with designers on Instagram and around 8,000 with Niche Mind. So this has been our community base where I find myself going often to find inspirations. For me, these companies aren't hardcore money-making machines, so to speak. For me, these are to impact the society in a way that I think society needs to be impacted. And again, not being too pompous about it, just having a humble take on, how you think the learning should be, how you think people should do UX, they should do research, they should think about users in a certain way. They should not just focus on aesthetics, because that's what really the core is. And I wanted to teach that to everyone in India. So our books are only available in India, not outside. And that really has been our journey till now.
Awesome, man. So it's crazy, like having worked across the domain and wearing various hats. And that's where I can really understand ki for someone who is into UX and who is, leading a team per se, needs to understand ki how a user is going to interact with it, how maybe even a developer on the backend side might be interacting with, or how even the marketing team might be interacting. So over the years, how exactly has Martech evolved?
According to me, marketing when I began was still, at least for the most part, was something that someone who can pay for ads, they win in the marketplace. That was really the equation back then. Someone who can pay for ads, someone who can pay for TV slots, they are the brands who would win. But what we have seen in this past 6 years is that marketing has really now become experimentation. So marketing is no more marketing, according to me. Marketing is now experimentation, and that experimentation requires a lot of tech. For example, we are now doing a lot of A/B testing. Every marketing campaign that we have, we are doing intelligent machine learning activities with every data that we get, so that we can optimize it in the right way. We are doing so many things around data, marketing, and conversion optimization that now we have seen that technology, design, and marketing are no more living in silos. They have really combined their powers together, and they need to stand together to run a company or to take a company forward. So that's how I think marketing has changed. Previously, it used to live in a silo. A marketing team used to be away from a design team, but now with the competitive space that we have, we really can't afford that. They really need to collaborate and come up with the best possible solutions out there with the tools that everyone are using in the marketplace currently.
So why do you see this evolution? Because what you mentioned is right. Earlier it was all about the creator and maybe the communication, the message, and that was what marketing was. And what you mentioned is right. Now technology has come into play, design has come into play. So how do you see? Have you seen some tools or some things which you guys do at maybe MX Player or in your career also, where you've seen all this get combined together? So is there anything which you have seen as a result?
So obviously, with Adobe Analytics, we have seen a lot of collaboration happen around marketing, design, and the technology team. They have allowed developers a lot of freedom over what they can do with their data. So I've seen a lot of customization, a lot of collaboration happening with Adobe Suite. I've also seen it happening with smaller softwares like usertesting.com. Like usertesting.com now, has become a hub for around 7 to 8 softwares. They are a place where even product managers could come to brainstorm for the features, get the conclusions of the user research that the designer is doing. So they are trying to, cross communicate with different channels of a company. These companies, they are trying to find a way to bridge the gap between them through these tools. So I've definitely seen a lot of collaboration happening among different types of team on usertesting.com. I've also seen, on a small scale, it happen in the G Suite, Google Suite, when we have seen us collaborating a lot with developers through Firebase. So Firebase, when we are using apps, is the only place to get the right analytics data. So analytics is for us, and all the bug reports is for the developers. So that's the place. Firebase is the place where me and developers meet, and we actually share things. We actually try to find the similar insights and work towards a similar goal. So that's how we have find different tools and technologies to overlap with each other duties. So, that's why we have seen that product manager is not, entirely product manager now. Marketing guy is not entirely just a marketing guy. Everyone is sort of involved in a lot of things.
Yeah, and everyone needs to, I think, with the way technology is going ahead, everyone needs to jump into different areas and understand how it's going to help and support a product. So can you tell me about MX Player? Like, what does your day look like at MX Player when you're working?
Right. So MX Player is quite interesting. It's the first one in my life where I got to really specialize into UX. Before that, I had always been not just initially head of design, then not just design, head of design and growth. So I'd been taking care of a lot of verticals that obviously is good for your horizontal expansion of the character. But if you need a vertical expansion in your character and your professional life, then you need a role like this, which I joined MX Player in. And usually my day goes by with analyzing what we can do with UX. So we do have a list of, let's say, tasks or features that would be coming next in. So we have around 9 to 10 apps in MX, and the requirements could be for anything. And these requirements could come from either from us or product managers or other stakeholders, or even a CRM team who would see a review, who would think, this review makes sense, we need to do this, and they add a feature request. So we have a pipeline of these requests. Product managers and designers and everyone constantly make sure that we prioritize those tasks in an Excel sheet. And once we do that prioritization, UX team starts the work on it. So we are the UX team. How we get usually a feature is through a PRD. So product manager creates a PRD, and we analyze those PRD. And then we start our UX process of researching, let's say, about our data, about our users, talking to a few users, talking to our CRM team about what people are saying about that feature, then doing competitive analysis. We do all that things and then create wireframes. So by, let's say, noon, I have a wireframe for one or two features. We then discuss it among our design that, what are the other ways we could go about it, because it's just a wireframe stage. And once we are done with that, once we think, these two or three or one solution looks good enough, we go to a brainstorming session with the product managers who initially made the PRD. And once we do that, we, get their take on what could we improve on that, what better could we do, what else can we add to it. And once that done, we create a UX document. So UX document clearly and very meticulously explain every single interaction, every button, every copy, everything that's supposed to happen through the wireframes, through the screenshots of wireframes. And this wireframe and UX document goes to the UI team. And that's where the role of my team kind of gets over. Not really over, because once the design are done, we review it, because we need to make sure जो हमने vision किया था, it's exactly that. So we need to make sure that it has turned out well. And even after it has been developed, I personally have responsibilities of doing every design review. So every feature that goes live on MX, I make sure that I review it, no matter which app is it on among our suites. So that's another thing the UX team does. We make sure that the quality of design is maintained by meticulously reviewing even the small change. And that also allows us to constantly be in contact with developers. We know what's happening, how they are coding, what problems they are having, so that we can consider those problems when we are designing in future.
Awesome. That's actually really detailed. In your whole this career of working with startups and everything, you must have come across also a lot of campaigns and promotions, right?
Right.
So any particular campaign that stood out for you, and you were like, when you saw it, आपने ये सोचा कि अरे यार क्या campaign है, या फिर मजा आ गया?
So in recent times, I mean, the one in the top of my memory and the one that I like the most, about the best campaigns is the timing. Right. I feel timing, is often considered as luck or anything else, but timing is often found, even not by luck. You could actually seek out timing when you have resources, the time is right, and you hit at the right time. So MX Taka Tak was released, and they released a campaign, Kar Taka Tak, Ban Taka Tak.
Okay.
Right. Recently, we have onboarded Badshah, singer Badshah, to create a song for Kar Taka Tak, Ban Taka Tak. And that campaign went, I think, Ghostbusters. Like, it literally was everywhere. Everyone was looking at it. Everyone was following it. And I think the best campaign is the one that obviously we made sure it was designed the best. We made sure we had the best youth icon involved. But at the same time, the timing was right. And we hit at the right time. And we made sure that we could make the most of it. And the timing, why I keep mentioning timing, is because we have seen ban of Chinese apps, right?
Right.
TikTok was banned, everything was banned, and that was a time where we released Taka Tak, and literally in 7 days we designed, we conceptualized, designed, and developed, delivered a polished app in 7 days. They were really sleepless 7 days, but the product was really good. We have over 50 million plus, around 70 million plus now, I think, more and counting downloads with Taka Tak. And it's been number one on iOS. It's been number one on Android. Again, we make sure that we have both iOS and Android. We all know totally different platforms, totally different work that goes into both. But yeah, both were on the top in the App Store, and we're really delighted that it works so well.
Crazy. So with these kind of companies, when you're working on products and versus when you're working on your own baby, like let's say maybe Coin DCX,
right?
What's the difference?
I personally feel that the amount of responsibilities that you have, the amount of hats that you have to wear, obviously differs a lot. I mean, if you're talking in terms of what I have experienced, the difference in both.
Sure.
And that has been my major difference, because in Coin DCX, I was, jack of all trades. I was doing design entirely end to end, making sure the best quality in it. But when it comes to growth, marketing, sales, customer support, everything, was I was trying to manage everything. And I felt, somewhere it taught me a lot. But after 1.5 or 2 years, it did wear me out. So I personally feel that it's great when you're getting started. It's great when you're trying to figure out what's the one thing that excites you the most, gets you out of bed, jumping. And for me, that gets you out of the bed jumping is user experience. I love to design experiences.
Perfect.
So I really try to focus my niche on it, try to focus on psychology, human psychology, try to focus on conversion optimization, that with the least amount of resources, can you make a page convert 80%? Because then you have won more than half the battle in the marketing world.
Sure.
So that's really has been the difference that I've seen in MX Player, that I've been able to probably give a lot more output because I was focusing on one thing, and everyone and people similar to me, equally good, are focusing on all the other verticals, because they hire really good. The quality of hiring is very high, and we are literally asked to not take anyone who we think is not better than us. And if we have to find at least one thing in that person, if we are hiring, that we think, he has that one thing that I haven't seen anyone in the team. So I'm going to take him for that X factor. So the hiring level is pretty high. So that's why we have seen the quality happening.
I think that's one key takeaway, which I would personally take from this talk. Okay, you need to hire someone better than you. Because a lot of times people, they are on this whole idea that, okay, I'm hiring for this position, but then they somewhere see, we always tend to somewhere get scared or maybe afraid to hire someone better than us.
Yeah, that's the ego part.
That's the ego part. But that is something, if we get control over, I think that's where the company will also grow. So in terms of your career, can you determine one Eureka moment where you were like, dude, this is it? Like, across all the things, all the ads that you have owned.
So when I became CTO of a Boston-based company, Gen Y Labs, I thought that my role was entirely going to be focused around tech, but instead it was entirely focused around marketing. And that's when I learned marketing personally. That's when I learned growth. And the biggest Eureka moment I had was I felt like the marketers and designers are exactly the same. They are both creating personas. They are both trying to understand humans' emotion. They are both trying to deliver better experiences at our product so that more people engage. They are exactly the same. And that Eureka moment for me led to a complete curve in my career, because I could suddenly contribute a lot more to a startup, because I'm not just designing now. I am taking your startup, not just designing it, but taking it from $0 to $1 million. And that's where the Let's Grow business came into the picture. And that's when we started working with companies. Let's Grow business started in 2014, while I was already in my college. And that's the seed root of it, that we could take something and we could make value out of it for a company. So it's not just a graphic, it's not just a UI, it's not just a screen. It's a value package that you can create. So I was trying to create a value package for myself that, I could skill up and maybe give a much better value to anyone who I'm working with.
Tell me a secret. Like, I am seeing your LinkedIn right now. How many things you were doing together? Like, you were a Google student ambassador from 2014 to 2016.
Right.
You were also a senior UX designer for My Child app.
Yeah, that was an interesting story. Yeah.
Right. You were also around that time lead UX designer at Parsnip.
Yeah, that was really good too. Yeah, each one of them is a really good story.
But how is all of this overlapping?
These are overlapping because I did inform them. I was working as a founder of Let's Grow business. I was working as a consultant for them, and each of these startups are the smaller startups. So My Child app has been endorsed by likes of Sheryl Sandberg from Yahoo, and that was an app which helped parents detect development disorders in a child. And that was a really brilliant app. It got a lot of acclamation. And I joined that because the CEO was my friend. And he said, "Bhaiya, apne ko app banana hai aisa jo it really helps kids like me." And he was one of the unique ones. And he's extremely intelligent, extremely well-spoken, well-read, well-educated, has a coder, just had a background of a development disorder, and he wanted to help every child out there. So that was the story of My Child. Parsnip was a California-based startup which they wanted to create a social media campaign, and that was, if I remember, that was my among the longest terms. I think worked at around 1 year with Parsnip, and it was previously called Claude. And it was the first one which offered me the salary. So if you would see, if you would go further down in my profile, anything below My Child is either free or really low cost, like 200 rupees per month.
Oh, okay.
So that was really my first startup, which offered me. I was in second year of my college, offered me 20,000, huge amount for me, huge amount, right? And I think it kind of helped me build and everyone knew that I was working with all these startups. I used to come from my college at around 4:30 and just right away go to my laptop and get up from my laptop, eat, have dinner, everything on my table, and get up at around 2 a.m. sleep, and at the same time try to arrange some meetings, try to close some clients. I was trying to, I'm from a very humble background. I didn't have a lot of money. So I was trying to, gather some money as well. So I was trying to get a lot of clients at that point. So that's why you see a lot of overlap, because that's also, apart from my desperation of skilling up, it was also in a way my desperation of getting out of the economic turmoil that we had. I felt that I saw, a light in the dark, and I just ran for it.
I totally believe that, because it sounds like a hustle. It sounds like, which is crazy. I think which is the way to go. It's really cool, like, getting to understand what goes in your mind and where you have come through all these things, like following, let's say, the light, as you say.
Right.
But I would say it's pure hustle, man. So kudos to you. Amazing work. If you were to tell me what marketing means to you, what would that be?
So I think I already closed the suspense on that one. For me, marketing has now become experimentation. Awesome. So if you have learned one types of marketing chops in one company, they're not going to work in the second company. that companies
Right.
see their vision, their mission, everything is different. Let's say for Coin DCX, we initially we couldn't do any ads on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, anywhere for cryptocurrency. So literally everything I knew about digital marketing, it just went up the smoke, and I had to find new growth hacks to even get the first subscriber on Coin DCX. And that was really that I think is true, that marketing has now become experimentation, and the teams who are experimenting the most with their marketing, who are using the right set of tools to experiment in the right direction, find the right statistical significance after every test, and then doing a deep dive into why it worked, why it didn't work, and then trying something else in the next one. I think that approach has now become marketing.
Awesome. I remember Coin DCX personally because crypto was on a high at that point, and
Right.
Coin DCX came to me like in terms of on my mobile screen
Yeah.
through maybe a WhatsApp or something. And so, what were some of the you can say hacks that you guys did, because you
So
couldn't advertise at that point?
we did a UX activity where we tried to create personas, and then we tried to map those personas with the amount of value that we can provide to them, not the vice versa. Like most people map their
Right.
personas with how much ticket size that they can give. We wanted to map them by how much value we can give, which persona can we give the value the most. And
Perfect.
we try to create literally campaigns and products and events around them. For example, DCX Privilege was launched, where the crypto traders who used to trade above 1 BTC will be allowed to become a DCX Privilege member, and they'll get literally like a phone service. They'll get a proper support that they couldn't even imagine in the world of Binance back then. Right? They couldn't even imagine using such exclusive clubs was one of the examples. Then apart from that, we did a lot of competitions. People like to trade. So every time we introduced a new coin, we used to have offers like you can win, let's say, a bike, you can win a laptop, you can win a tablet. We used to give a lot of giveaways, very strategic giveaways, making sure that every time the ROI is justified. Like we doesn't always have to be come on top. Obviously, most of them were in the negative because they were in a sense marketing campaigns.
Right.
But at the same time, we want to make sure that the amount of money that we are spending is still efficient based on the ROI that we are getting.
Perfect. So where you see Martech go, because your name is Bhavishya, I want to understand the Bhavishya of Martech. So what does that look like according to you?
For me personally, what I've seen industry grow, what I've seen people and folks in Airbnb, Microsoft, Google doing is that I think we need to be, again, not live in silos, find a way to learn everything. So we have vertical growth, but it's very, very important, I think, in the Martech world, in the growing Martech world, to have a horizontal expansion of your skills as well.
Awesome.
I've seen content writers literally learn Python to write scripts, to write SQL queries, to speed up their process. And I personally, it may be my bias as a IT engineer, I always find a positive about technology. But yeah, I mean, I personally, this is where I see it's going. That it's going to become a lot more sophisticated, because that's the pattern I can see from 1990 to now, for instance, right? Instead of being more, just a creative process, it is now more of a creative and a tech process. So you need to have both skills. I personally feel that I'm creative. So I always make sure that I know all the new tools. I know all the new ways that people are finding the insights about their users or bettering their product. I always try to learn all those tools, because I personally feel that this is the future. That people in future will in the Martech world will become a lot more sophisticated with the tools that we have, and
Right.
analyzing Google Analytics will just not be the end all be all of it.
I know. So I see a lot of people in the marketing space. For them, Google Analytics is the end of
Final truth, yeah.
the story.
Yeah.
So that's how things are happening. But there is a shift wherein people are collecting all data and then looking at it holistically, and that is also
They're learning machine learning to make sure
Right.
that their ad campaigns are working and learning automatically. So now don't have to involve, they don't have to hire a person. The algorithm automatically learns which ad is better and just creates combines that image, that different caption, and launches the final version of the ad. You don't even have to involve the human in it. So
Nice.
amazing times that we see. Obviously, these softwares are extremely costly. No small startup can use it. If they're in the Martech space, they have to figure out, better growth hacks or better ways to get insights. But yeah, I mean, in bigger corporates, these are the kind of adoptions we have seen.
Awesome. So, guys, we are going to be wrapping this up in the next 10 minutes. If you guys have any question for Bhavishya, feel free to put it up in the question Q&A console. If people on Facebook also are putting things up, Anam, please make sure to share it with us. So, Bhavishya, towards the last few questions right now, what I really want to understand is how has the lockdown been, and how did you, was it like a, you can say, very stressful experience,
Yeah.
and how did you actually manage it?
So I got recently married in January this year, and that's where the lockdown came in. And for me, it was really a time for me to get to. I already knew my wife, but just to get to know her more, spend more time. At the same time, find efficient ways to. I'm always been an introvert, so I liked when this thing happened initially. Obviously, later I got bored of it. That's
Right.
another story. But I feel that I was made for a setting like this. I am more of a video call person. I probably wouldn't meet you if you call me for a coffee. I'd bail out because I feel I feel like a lot more comfortable with technology.
Right.
And obviously, Corona happened, and now I have excuse to not go out. So I personally liked it.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
but really, I mean, obviously, not disregarding what's happening in our world around us.
For sure.
But yeah, for me personally, it has been a way to get to know my family more and spend more time with them. At the same time, work even more. So I was working a lot more than I used to work before. Our company is doing, MX is doing is a lot more better than it was doing before lockdown. So for me, the graph has been mostly positive.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Few questions which have come in. One from Joel. He's basically asking what makes CoinDCX different from other crypto apps.
So CoinDCX, I personally feel, takes the strong responsibility for everything that they do. I've seen a lot of, I wouldn't take names, different cryptocurrency exchanges who ran out, for a lack of better word, stealing people's money. And CoinDCX was built with values that हम खड़े हैं यहाँ पे, आप हमारे ऑफिस आ जाओ, हम खड़े हैं यहाँ. Right? This was literally the value that CoinDCX, I feel, was built on. And if that still exists on CoinDCX, I've been away for a while, and I think it does. And that's why I feel CoinDCX is a better place. Obviously, not to mention it has a better technology, better, larger suite of apps. It has better apps, better designed apps. I would say so because I did that. But yeah, better designed apps. And yeah, I mean, it's generally, you should try CoinDCX once. They have made trying it once a lot more easier. There were a lot of incentives on the new users, and there were a lot of support. So, I mean, anytime you're confused about anything, you can reach out to them. And I know how proactive they are with each and every query that we had. So yeah, that's why I feel, it's different.
Awesome. Thanks for that. Sagar also has a question wherein Sagar is asking about how exactly the Taka Tak campaign went live, considering it was done in just a week, right? And how did the team management and the work actually take place? How did, like, from conceptualizing to actually making it real?
So I might not be the best person because when it comes to creating something in 7 days, honestly, I was mostly taking orders, I would say. I was mostly, doing the protocol that the higher stakeholders had already decided that we have to go in this way. We have to first design wireframes by this date, design by this date, review by this date, release by this date. So we were just sticking on to that. And I think every team, at the same time, marketing, as you asked, would be sticking to a similar deadline like this. And there's no secret sauce there. I mean, it's just old school, long hours, 12 aims, and that's really it.
Sheer hard work.
Yeah, sheer hard work. That's about it, really. Because we knew everyone was going to come out with a similar app, and we just wanted to be not just faster, but like evidently better.
Sure.
We wanted to stand by the name of the MX player. I mean, what name that MX player has created, we wanted to do justice by that, and we couldn't release a low quality. So that's why it took a lot of work.
Awesome. So any other thoughts in your mind? Like, what can we expect from Bhavishya now? Let's say we are going through unlock, and what are you planning on? Because you're already planning, I'm really sure.
So not really, I mean, right now the only hustle I have is the side hustle, I would say, is the niche mind, the books that we are creating. So I try to be literary with the time that I have apart from MX player, to do justice to it. I always try to spend my time in things that are core to my personality, and it helps me improve as a person, improve as a designer. And creating books for designers, creating really valuable stationaries, valuable tools for designers, that drives me in a way. So that really is what you can really expect from us. I mean, we introduced Top UX Designers just less than a year ago, and as I said, it has 120,000 followers now. So and it's helping designers all around the world learn more about UX in simple daily notes on their Instagram. So while they are scrolling through their daily Instagram dose, they can get a dose of UX. Okay. And so, I mean, we try to do such things more and more for the world, for our friends in user experience, product management, startups. And this has been my passion also, that I could create meaning for them. I could create value for this sector of our society, because I feel that's where innovation comes from. And if I could impact this society, I could impact the innovation. And in long term, for me, when I'm 60, I want to be able to have impacted 10,000 businesses directly, positively. So that's my personal aim. That's my life's goal, that I want to be able to be help of a lot more people in any way I can. And I'm constantly trying to find pro bono or not pro bono. I just try to find ways that I could impact the society through whatever skills I have currently. And I'm just 25. It's a long way to go.
Crazy. I see it is being followed by, a lot of not just Indian designers, but also internationally, and it's got crazy.
We are constantly touching them. They are best friends with us on Top UX Designers. Every international designer has at least once interacted with Top UX Designers in some way or another for a post or something.
So how did this thing start? Like, this was just about
just
share something.
We launched Niche Mind, but I mean, obviously it was not 4,500 rupees for one book, but it was at least 750. It was at least a for-profit organization going on there. And I personally felt that people have a sort of friction while interacting with a for-profit brand. So I felt that, I should create a community where I could share freely for free to everyone out there, and not have a, ulterior motive to it. At the same time, obviously, I can use that page if I want anytime for anything. Let's say if I want to launch a new line of notebook on the Niche Mind, I can obviously promote it there. But that's an asset in building. But apart from that, it's really been a mission of helping designers and connecting with them. I knew they are not going to interact with the Niche Mind directly all the time. But I know that Chris Do or even the biggest designers out there would interact with Top UX Designers, because it's a community, and it just lowers the barrier of friction and makes it easier to grow.
That's a growth hack, man. That's an awesome growth hack. Awesome. So you've been great. This has been really wonderful. I can see one question. I think let's take this up.
Sure.
So Manasi is asking, have you tried using a design sprint method for any project?
Yeah, I've done tons of design sprints. I've designed a design sprint that I've wrote about in my book, UX Notebook. So I've created a design process that is patent pending. And I feel that design process could help a lot of even beginners and experienced designers better their design process. And yeah, that process includes a sprint. Sprint is a subset of that process, and it's a modified sprint. And yeah, we have done different. Obviously, when we are in the market, we can't do just the Google sprint with every brand out there, because every brand has a different expectation. So we design, when I used to work with Let's Grow Business, work with a lot of clients, I used to go to their company and teach their designers how to design better through design sprint, and at the same time achieve something that they always wanted to do for, let's say, 1 year. So if they wanted to grow their website drastically by redesigning it, I would redesign it in their office in 7 days with their design team while teaching them the design. So that allowed me to do a lot of design sprints with different corporates. And yeah, to answer in short, we have done a lot of design sprints.
Awesome. I think it gives you a certain structure so everyone can, work together as a team and actually get an output at the end of it.
Right. Are you asking that I could give a structure on?
So design sprint basically gives us a structure.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it also wraps it up in 7 days, right? So it's easier to sell to a stakeholder that हम सिर्फ 7 दिन परेशान करेंगे आपको. That's all we are gonna take. But in 7 days, if you think we achieved something worth it, like give us 7 more days. Right. So
Awesome. So I think it's really valuable and extremely thankful to you for joining us on Dude, Where's My ROI? So thanks a lot for this. Thank you guys who have been attending the session. I hope we are bringing you the value so that when you ask us, Dude, where's my ROI? You guys have already got the answer, I guess. Guys, next time we are having our next session, and this is with Arnav Neil Ghosh, who is the ex-managing director of Blipper. So again, the idea over there is we are going to get someone who is going to talk about their journey and who is going to talk about the future of marketing technology. So till then, everyone, have a great time and cheers.